Hey everyone, this is Stefan from Lush&Saltyaquariums. How are we doing? It's been a while since we took a look at this lovely tank in my oldest daughter's room. She is back from college, as you can see from the debris, but her tank is in pretty darn good shape, thanks to yours truly. So this tank was originally set up as a biotope for Indian pea puffers, and there might still be 2 or 3 in there, but they were so elusive and enjoyed the biotope so much that I never saw them. So I converted it to a community tank, I guess. It has a couple species of fish. First of all, you can see from here, there's a school of these classic Petco specials. They're the longfin, high fin tetra, the longfin variety. They're super common. Even today at Petco, I went in to get some supplies. They're not getting any fish because of the pandemic, but there's still a couple of these swimming around. There should be about 6 or 7 in here. I only see a couple on camera. Then I also have a fraternity of male guppies. No females because I don't want the babies. There's most of them there. Very common. I raised these from feeder guppies and they turned into these glorious fancy guppies. Nevertheless, probably the most common strain, calico, firetail. They go by a bunch of different names. And so those share the tank amicably with the long fins, but I also have another white ghost, this platinum beta fish, which gets along just fine with everybody in the tank. I would not have put him in here, but as some of you know the story, I received 5 of the same exact kind of beta when I only ordered 1, and so I had to house them all in my many tanks. Thankfully I have many tanks, and so one's in here. The real story of this tank, though, is the plant and woodscape. I'm super happy with how this has turned out and holds up and continues to prosper. Plenty of emerged plants, including a classic long spines. I think it's called an Indian paintbrush. It's a weed. It's this one here, and it just kind of has these tendrils that are nothing special, but you can wrap them around sticks and you can put them around your lights, and they're easy, and their roots hang down into the aquascape and get caught up in this wood, which also features Anubias, a low light plant, so it's happy. And I have crypts down here, the Parva variety, which stays small, and I have some Christmas moss. There you see a cherry shrimp. I only have a few in here because I'm sure they get predated upon by either the tetras, the beta, and if there's pea puffers still in here, those fish, of course. But that one and a few others are in here, as well as some amano shrimp. And most of the invertebrates, excuse the reflection, love to go into these. There's an amano. Go into this great tree here that supports all the roots hanging down from the emerged plants, mosses, as well as a great housing unit for the rhizomes of the Anubias plants. So that turned out super good, and I'm very, very pleased. Despite all the population of fish, there's also some pygmy hasbrosa catfish in here, a classic from Lush&Saltyaquariums. I have them in all my freshwater tanks. I know there's a school, but again, often not seen except when the lights go out. So the story really is this plant, frankly, plant and woodscape, and that's okay because it's so badass. I'm really pleased with it, and I'm super happy, and I'm sure so are the fish. You see how calm they are, the beta right next to the tetras with 0 aggression. It's always been that way. And I attribute that to not the size of the tank, because it's not very big, about 10 gallons, but the fact that there's all of this plant life and this piece of bogwood, which makes them feel completely secure. Creeping back up again, you see I've got 2 nano lights, and even then I'm not getting a ton of light into the aquarium because much of the actual light is being blocked and absorbed by what's growing up top. There's this great kind of spider fern here, but that blocks a lot of the light, but it lets enough in so that you get a cool effect. And the fish are always going to be happy in lower light. Highlight is mostly pleasing to a lot of plants, but many fish actually prefer a darker soup-like atmosphere, environment in which to live, breed, and be safe and secure in. It's more like what they're accustomed to in the wild. So super highlight might be great for aesthetics in the home and filming, obviously, but actually this tank is probably more healthy for a great variety of fish. And this hodgepodge of guppies and tetras and a betta fish, never going to be recommended by just about anyone on YouTube, but here they are living happily. And the last thing I'll say is look at that ground. This is about a year in, and with all that biomass, there's like 0 detritus, and I do not vacuum this. I will do water changes and suck up dead snail shells from what I assume are the pea puffers eating, but that's it. And I change the filters pretty religiously, which is this hang on back, and it does get thick and slow quickly. I also have a tiny cheap power head, which is right there, and that blows a jet of water, which creates movement on this side of the tank so it doesn't stagnate. And that solution has worked really well, especially with regard to that fern there, or excuse me, that moss, which was getting corrupted by detritus and just turning into a glob, and now it's flowing and much more green, and I actually trim it. In any event, this is a pretty cool tank. I hope you agree. Any questions, comments, please leave them. And thank you as ever for subscribing. I super duper appreciate that. Stay safe and always keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.